Hey everyone, it's Michelle, and as promised in my previous video, I said I would try to get back to you with a tutorial on how I make my easy lasagna bake, and so that's what I'm here to show you. Now I will readily admit there is no substitution for a big pan of homemade lasagna. It's just like there's nothing else. However, when you're in a pinch for time, may not have quite all the ingredients that you need on hand to make it, or if you're trying to watch your money just a little, I have come up with a way to tweak it to meet those expectations. So ingredients are very basic. I've already started the cooking process ahead of time. Right here I have 1.5 pounds of hamburger. You can pretty much use any fat ratio that you want to use. Just make sure you fully drain it. Unlike when you're making a hamburger on the grill where you want a higher fat content, when you're doing something where you're cooking hamburger in a casserole where you want it dry, then maybe it's a good thing to splurge for the less fat, so you don't lose as much, you don't have as much shrinkage. This is just I think a 90-10 that I had frozen, so I just pulled it out of the freezer before I left to run my errands today. I have a pot of salted water back here boiling on the stove, and what I'm using for noodles are actually mini lasagnas. I don't know if you have these in your area. I know they don't have them in all the grocery stores around here, but all it is a lasagna noodle in mini form. Cute little thing. And then one of the most expensive ingredients in lasagna is the ricotta cheese. So I have substituted. I love ricotta, but again, if you're just trying to watch your pennies a little bit, a cheaper alternative is cottage cheese. Again, much cheaper, mixes up just as well. This is going to be a little more loose. You're not going to cut it out in squares like you do a lasagna, so you don't need the eggs and the ricotta to have that consistency in there to keep it in a square form. So this is going to be a little looser. So I have substituted cottage cheese. Still going to need mozzarella for the top. And then for the sauce, I just make a very basic sauce. You could use a jarred sauce if you wanted to, of marinara sauce. I always make my own. This isn't my marinara sauce recipe, again, because it's in more of a casserole form. I am going a little quicker and a little cheaper and not quite as many ingredients. So I'm just using some organic tomato sauce, which I will pour right on top, as well as salt and pepper, and some Italian seasoning. So again, I'm just going to let my hamburger continue to boil, or my hamburger's not boiling, my hamburger's frying. So as soon as that's done, I will drain it, and I'm going to start my lasagna noodles, and then I will show you what it looks like as I'm putting it together. Okay, so pretty much everything has finished cooking at this point. So all I did was put the 12 ounces of mafalda noodles into the casserole dish, and then I did cut it back a little bit. I was going to make 2 cans of tomato sauce, use the whole 1.5 pounds of ground beef, and make 2 12-ounce boxes, but since there's only my husband and I don't need all that. So I just have narrowed it down to 1 12-ounce box of the mafalda noodles. I'm going to add my whole can, and this is just the 15-ounce can of tomato sauce. If you want yours with more sauce, by all means, add a second can. I just don't like a ton of sauce with mine, although my husband does. We'll probably fight about that later. I am going to sprinkle everything with salt and pepper. And this is one of those dishes where there's just no recipe to go by. You just throw some stuff together in a pan, throw it in the oven, melt some cheese on it. Melting cheese on anything is going to make it good. This is just basic Italian seasoning. Again, if I was making my homemade marinara sauce, I'd be using separate containers of thyme and basil and oregano and crushed tomatoes and a lot of extras. But again, since this is just a casserole, we're just throwing it all together. Now, I'm not going to use the full 1.5 pounds of hamburger. I'm going to cut that back a little bit. I'll save what I don't use for the puppy to eat because he does like the burger. So I have already drained this. So I'm just going to sprinkle some hamburger in here. Again, use as much or as little as you like. You could also substitute Italian sausage, which is, when I make lasagna, that's normally what I use, is Italian sausage. It's what my husband prefers. Again, tonight we're just going with hamburger because it's what I have in the freezer the most of. And then we're going to top it off with some cottage cheese. Again, it's taken the place of the ricotta in a traditional lasagna. going to go with probably a good cup and a half. That's probably coming out to maybe just under a cup and a half of cottage cheese. And I'm just going to mix this all together. If you want it a little thinner, a little saucier, again, add another can of sauce. Or what I think I might do is, because I don't want to open another can of sauce because I won't use the whole can, I may just put a little bit of tomato juice on here just to thin it out, because I always have tomato juice in my fridge because that's like one of my favorite juices, and I'm flopping on my counter. So let me get my juice. I could just dig into this right now without even baking it in the oven. And you figure everything in it is already cooked. So if you were really crunched for time, dinner's done. You just might have to warm it up a little bit, because once you put that cottage cheese in there, it does take the temperature down a little bit of your hot noodles and your hot meat of whatever choosing that you use. So again, oh my gosh, I'm slopping like crazy. That one's going in my mouth. Because you have to taste test before you bake it anyway. Okay. To me, that looks pretty good. So all I'm going to do now is sprinkle it with some mozzarella cheese. And again, use as much or as little as you'd like. Piece of cheese, if that's what you have on hand. There's no set recipe. You're using up stuff in your pantry that you want to get rid of. Good way to do it. Leftover burger, leftover noodles, any shape of noodles. Throw it in the pan, throw some cheese on it, and bake it in the oven. Call it dinner. Take one more little handful here out of it. Alright. Then we're going to wash my hands. Then we're going to top it off with some more, watch it, Pupper. He always has to get in every video, doesn't he? We're going to top this off with a little more Italian seasoning all over the top. And then we're going to pop it in the oven, 350 degrees. Again, all you're doing is heating everything since it's already cooked. Don't want to let it go too long. You don't want it to get really dry. So I'm going to pop it in the oven for about 20 minutes and dinner's served. So it's that quick. It took me 10 to 15 minutes to throw it together, 15, 20 minutes in the oven. You have dinner in 30 minutes. I sound like Rachel Ray. 30-minute meals? Is that her show? I don't know. I don't remember. But anyway, quick dinner, hamburger, pasta bake, tweak it, use different meats, use different cheeses, whatever you want. So there's a simple nighttime dinner for you. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.